Hey everybody, I'm Robert. I'd like to welcome you back to the channel. Welcome down to the Apex Barn. Before we get started on today's topic, I'd really like to thank you for all the support that you've given the channel, all the comments that you guys come with, and really the respectful conversations that you guys have. One thing that I'd like to say is that I've really been enjoying all of these conversations and all these topics. And if you guys ever have anything that you want to bring to the table, most of you, 99.9% of you, bring it in a very respectful manner. And I think that you all should be proud of that. Your guys' comments, your conversations, that's what's giving life to this channel, and that's what's bringing everything forward, just like today's topic that we're going to get into right now. What do I think about Ferrari suing their customers over things that they're doing with the cars that they bought? It really is tricky, isn't it? I say we jump right into it. I'll share some of my ideas about what a brand is, what a brand image is, and how that's built. And I think that we can kind of dissect this a little bit. So one of the things that we need to understand is about a brand. What is a brand? We can talk about a car brand that is maybe becoming more popular. We can talk about a brand that's coming out of nowhere and really gaining traction, and that would be something like Tesla. Tesla is a newer car company that's coming to the forefront and really gaining traction among young people, among progressive people who feel like they're at the forefront of technology and maybe even changing the world. And I really do think that Tesla customers feel that about themselves, and they're proud to be a part of something that's different, that's not the norm. And that's a company that's coming and they're actually building a brand, they're building a customer base, and that's exciting. On the other hand, you know, we've been doing videos recently about BMW and some of maybe the marketing issues that they've had, negative things in the press, or maybe not about the press, but just negative marketing and public moves that they've done that really look embarrassing. And it has taken a brand that many people have held in a very high regard and brought them down to a level that's just trying to pump out cars and make money and not really protecting their brand image. So we have two companies that are basically crossing and going different directions. At the same time, we have Ferrari. Ferrari is over here just building cars. You might not like how many cars they build, you may not like what they are, but those cars are cars that sit there and they have a Cavallino on the steering wheel. And when somebody sees that Cavallino, it's one of the most recognizable brands in the world. Ferrari runs Formula One because it's an image. They have licensing, they have trademarks, they sell space on their cars, on their trucks, on their trailers, they sell shirts, they sell hats, they sell things by the masses to people, and people eat it up simply because it is Ferrari. Ferrari has been building cars that young men and young women have lusted after since they first saw their first car, and they've said, I have to have that one day. The first time they heard a Ferrari V12 fire up or a naturally aspirated V8 fire up, it spoke to them and it gave them energy and it gave them an excitement that carried on to a poster on the wall of an F40. I remember playing it with one of my father's models of an F40 when I was a kid, and I absolutely loved it. And I said, one day I want a Ferrari. And I knew that I wanted a Ferrari one day. And at the time, what did I know about what a Ferrari was? I just knew that it looked cool, and I knew that it was something that you wanted because the brand was strong and the marketing was there behind it. And you know what? There's Ferraris that I've gotten in that I'm like, well, this is just another car. But no matter what, you get behind the wheel and you see that Cavallino, you see maybe a yellow tack, you see it rev up and you hear it for the first time. A Ferrari FF. A four-seater shooting brake. Some people say it's ugly. Some people can find the beauty of it. From an angle at the back, it absolutely looks stunning. From the front, it's a little bit dull. But you sit in the driver's seat and you fire up that motor, and the way that it screams is phenomenal. The same thing from an 812 Superfast, the F12, F12 TDF, and go all the way back through the generations of these V12s, all the way to the beginning. And those cars speak to you. A wooden steering wheel with a Cavallino in the middle of it. A front fender with a shield, with the Cavallino shield on it. Those cars meant something to people that didn't even know what a Ferrari really was like to drive. And many people grew up wishing that they could one day even sit in one, touch one, look at one, let alone drive one. So Ferrari has effectively, over the course of 90 plus years, they have built a brand, which we need to be careful with what I'm about to say. They have formed the most valuable brand in the world. There are many people who value brands, and they look at different aspects of a brand. What's the marketability of the brand? What's the desirability of the brand? How can that brand sell their merchandise? How can that brand sell cooperations? And in many cases, most agencies will rate Ferrari as the most valuable brand in the world. Yes, companies like Amazon, Tesla even, companies like Apple, in terms of actual value of the company, blow Ferrari out of the water. There's no comparison in terms of what those brands value at or what the company values at, but the brand itself, the name, the marketability of that brand of Ferrari is far higher than any other company in the world just because you know what it is. Okay? What that means is that when you come as a purchaser of a Ferrari and you do something and you create a new livery on your Ferrari and you nickname it the Ferrari, and Ferrari comes and says, wait a minute, you're devaluing our brand. It's a very tricky situation because you bought that car from Ferrari, and at that point it's your car. You do what you want with it. And understandably, we would all think that we should be able to do that. It's our vehicle. We did what we want with something that we buy. If I take my shoes right here that I bought and I want to change the name of them and put another sticker of them, the manufacturer is not going to contact me. But we all know that Groundies, the shoe company, probably has nowhere near strong enough of a brand for anybody to really care and for it to make news and for it to be a big presence, okay? When the Ferrari came to the forefront, it was in the news with the name Ferrari attached with it. The name Ferrari and this Ferrari were being put in articles together, and Ferrari decided that that was damaging their brand because somebody bought a car that was a highlight in the world market and was able to change it, and the name was attached. Now, if the name Ferrari was never brought up, if all of these things never happened, then the reality is that this probably never would have been an issue. We have a situation where when you buy a new Ferrari, especially in the United States, it can be very difficult to get a Ferrari. There's difficulties in Europe as well, but there's a thing called appreciation. A lot of Ferraris that you buy new, you're able to sell those cars for more money later. In the example of something like the Ferrari, that car was purchased for a certain amount of money, and you can find this in news articles, and then it was listed and actually sold for more money than the original owner bought it for new. That means that Ferrari is delivering us cars, whether it be an F12 TDF, an 812, whatever the TDF is going to be called, GTO model, whatever we want to call it, a Pista Spider, so on and so forth, the Speciale. You can buy these cars, let's just say for fun, at 400,000 euro or dollars, and you might be able to sell them for upwards of double, maybe more than what you paid for them. At that point, you as a buyer are benefiting from the brand name that Ferrari has built. Ferrari can build 5 times more Pistas than McLaren can 675 LTs, and they can sell every single one of them, and that value of that car stays exactly what it was or more. That's because Ferrari has built the world's most valuable brand, and there are more people that want a Ferrari than Ferrari can and will produce. They have effectively created demand for their product through brand advertising, through desirability, and not overflooding the market with their product. That means that you as a buyer are in a position to benefit from that, and you as a buyer will benefit from that financially if you get these special edition cars. It's obviously a challenge when we say, I bought this, but the minute that you can profit from the company, you also need to be very cautious as to not bring the name of that company into it, because the minute that you use their trademark, the most valuable brand in the world, they do all of a sudden have a say, and they are willing to take you to court to say you're damaging that brand name. You guys might jump on me and say, oh no, I don't care, I bought the car. And that's I understand that, but the issue is the minute that the actions that you took bring the actual name of the company into it, and their logo is used, and you've modified their logo and made their logo look like a cat or something that you want to make fun of it or have fun with it, that's the minute that Ferrari actually does have a legal leg to stand on. It's very complicated. It would have had to go to court, but you notice that it didn't. The owner of that car sold their car, they got rid of it, they said, I'm done with the brand, and the brand said, good, we don't need that type of marketing. So, in short, I, as an owner, for example, of Apex, am very cautious about letting people put big stickers on the doors of the cars. I don't know if you can see it on the E92 right here. That is our CI. A lot of people message and say, Robert, can we put this on our car? I say, no, you cannot. that only goes on Apex cars. We let people put little Apex stickers on the windows in different places like that because they want to support us. But we request that nobody puts the stickers on that represent Apex's door cards or the taxi stickers that go on the doors of the taxis. And that's because those are our cars. If something happens, if somebody passes somebody on the wrong side of the Autobahn, is caught speeding, is driving crazy on the Nürburgring and has an accident and has those stickers, it immediately affects the brand that is Apex. If I saw somebody that was running these stickers, I would kindly ask them to remove them, because that is our brand CI. We do a lot of work at Apex to develop a brand, to develop a product, and to keep an image around that brand that is clean, efficient, following the rules, respecting the Nürburgring, and really respecting automotive culture as a whole. And the minute that that gets tampered with, I have to step in as a brand. And you better believe that my brand Apex, or our brand at Apex, is nowhere near as valuable as Ferrari's. So I understand where Ferrari is coming from. I do think it would be nice if they would do it in a more, I would say, casual manner. Of course, a cease and desist letter from a lawyer is definitely very aggressive. If you have a customer that paid 300 to €1,000,000 or dollars for one of your cars, maybe a personal phone call would be in order, because you could definitely get a hold of them. Anyways, tell me what you guys think. Does it make sense from this aspect of protecting your brand, because that's what allows you to be profitable? That's what allows you to be desirable? Or do you think that we should be able to buy these cars and do literally whatever we want, even using the name of these companies and altering their logos? I look forward to hearing what you guys think. Again, thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you guys in the comments, and we'll catch you later.